TWTA Chapter 1067, Huntsville, Alabama.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is John Perry, and I'm going to be your MC for tonight. I want to welcome everyone to the welcoming ceremony, and this kicks off our week with the Wall that Heals and all the other activities that go along with that. So, if you would, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. Mayor Battle, will you come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Flags are to the rear here of the choir. Everybody will salute. Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Charlie Miller. Charlie Miller is our chaplain for today. Charlie Miller is also the president for our local VVA, Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 1067. Chaplain Miller, please lead us in your vocation.
Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, help us to just pause just for a moment for the great opportunity that we have to serve you as well as mankind. We thank you for the desire that you give us to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the Vietnam War, as well as to our fellow comrade who yet struggles with the war efforts. Bless our leadership, our community, and especially our city, our donors, and especially those volunteers that give of themselves that this wall might be a success. So when every eye have seen the wall and every hand have touched it, Lord, we promise you that we will give you the praise and the glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Miller. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really pleased to see the great turnout we have despite all the weather and the rain this morning. It's great to see all of the leaders in our community here to support our veterans. And also the wall. The last time the wall was here was 18 years ago. And I'm going to call out Brigadier General Bob Droulet. Bob, where are you there?
over here.
Okay. Bob Droulet brought the wall here 18 years ago. And how the story goes was about 2 years ago, he leaned over to me and he says, it's been a long time since the wall has been here. And me being a good NCO and him being a Brigadier General, I said, yes, sir, I got it. So here we stand today. The wall is set up. We are so honored to have all the, everything that's over there. The education center, we've got the wall, we've got the JC building. The JC building is full of Vietnam era paraphernalia, or memorabilia, I should say. Weapons, uniforms, C rations for those of us who are old enough to remember what C rations were. So. I'm going to try to keep my comments short because we have several members in our group that have a 6 o'clock meeting for various reasons, and I'd ask all my speakers to try to keep their comments as brief as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want to do is start with a recognition of some of our special guests, and I hesitated only because our VIPs are our Vietnam veterans who are sitting over here on my left. Let's give them a round of applause. On my right, you may not see, but we have Medal of Honor recipient Mike Rose and his lovely wife Margaret. And I'm going to ask Holy applause till the end, only so we can get through the list of names. I have a long list. The Honorable Noah Brooks, Congressman for Alabama District 5. Steve Marshall, Alabama Attorney General, to my left. Welcome, sir. Mr. Jay Town, U.S. Attorney, Northern District of Alabama. Good to see you again, sir. Bill Holtzclaw, Senator Bill Holtzclaw, Alabama State District 2. Representative Howard Sandiford, Alabama District 20. Mayor Tommy Battle, City of Huntsville. Mark Jacobson, representing Paul Finley, City of Madison. Dale Strong, Chairman, Madison County Commission. Huntsville City Councilwoman Jeannie Robertson. Dr. Joe Fitzgerald, civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army from North Alabama. Alicia Adams, Army Materiel Command, Executive Deputy to the Commanding General, Redstone Arsenal. Major General Allan Elliott, Chief of Staff, Army Materiel Command, Redstone Arsenal. Mr. Ray Almodovar, CEO for Intuitive Research and Technology, and also our principal sponsor for the Wall That Heals. Brigadier General Bob Droulet, Chairman for the Veterans Memorial Fund and part of the team that brought the wall here 18 years ago. And Mr. John Rowan, National President for the Vietnam Veterans Association, came all the way down here today for this event. We also have AUSA 3rd Region President Chris McBride and Alabama State President Dave C. with us today. If I've missed anyone, please forgive me. But thank you for all of you for attending this meeting today. I'd like to open this up now to Mr. Ray Almodovar for our welcoming comments. So Mr. Almodovar is the CEO for Intuitive Research and Technology and the principal sponsor for the Wall That Heals. You already gave him a warm welcome. Thank you, Mr. Almodovar.
Good afternoon, almost good evening. It's my distinct honor and privilege to welcome you to the opening ceremony of the Wall That Heals. First, I want to recognize some of the entities that made this possible. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, which are the founders of the Wall Memorial in Washington, D.C. The City of Huntsville, who put together this amazing venue, and by the way, on time and beautifully. Don't mind the rain, but it's a great venue. Thank you. AUSA Redstone Huntsville Chapter, the Huntsville-Madison County Veterans Memorial, the commemorative partner program for the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, the Vietnam Veterans of America Chapter 1067, and our sponsors. Without their financial support, none of this will be possible. The core committee of the Wall That Heals at Huntsville was instrumental of putting this together. I want to take a moment because they don't recognize themselves. They're humble, they're quiet, but they were very effective putting this together, and I believe we need to recognize them. Names are Pete Fast, Norm Myers, Ray Zimmerman, Brian Dodson, Laura Ayers, Zig Jasbretsky, David Carney, Jennifer Holliday, Megan Nivens, Arlen Busk, Al Watts, John Mays, Ralph Harris, and Intuitive's very own John Perry. Please give them a warm thank you. I also want to thank again Mayor Battle and Mayor Finley for your support during this preparation and leading up to what we have here today. Also, as an old former Army civilian, also want to recognize our general officers and members of the SES for taking time of your schedule to be here today. Joe Fitzgerald, our CASA, thank you for being here. I appreciate that very much. Also, the active and retired members of the armed forces and their families, thank you for being here. All the local, state, and federal elected officials, I appreciate your time and thank you for being here today. And most importantly, all the volunteers. This was an all-volunteer effort, and without them, we won't have this beauty sitting out in our park. Also, the most important individuals in these events are the veterans from the Vietnam War and their families. Welcome to the Wall That Heals. Today is your homecoming. So a little bit about how this came about. Intuitive was approached with the opportunity to bring the wall to Huntsville. It was here about 18 years ago, so General Drolet said it's time to bring it back. And John Perry asked me, hey, would you, we're looking for sponsors. Would you like to be one? And this is one of the things that I just couldn't believe that we were given that privilege and honor to be the leading sponsor. So immediately I said yes. And I'm glad we did that, John. For those of you who don't know about Intuitive, we're about 45% veterans. And we're actively seeking opportunities to provide a thriving environment to our veterans in the community and to align our efforts to ensure that the best support is provided to our nation's warfighters, both during and after their sacrificial contributions. Many of the veterans' employees are here celebrating with us this evening. The Intuitive team had the honor of setting up the wall yesterday. Many of those volunteers are Intuitive veterans. They will disassemble the wall on Sunday, and it's an honor that they will always cherish. The efforts behind the planning of this monument has been 100% volunteer-led, and for that, we thank you. The wall means something different to each of us. For me, it stands as a symbol of America's honor and recognition of the men and women who serve and sacrifice their lives. Without them and their selfless sacrifice, we would not be fortunate enough to enjoy the freedom that we take advantage of every day. Those that fought in the Vietnam War faced the unspeakable. Each and every day, they left their wives, children, parents, brothers, sisters, husbands, and their communities for the greater good of mankind. They didn't question why. They just stood up to the call. Unlike previous wars, they were not welcomed home to a country with open arms. Instead, they faced controversy, a nation torn apart by debate, and a society that didn't recognize all they had given up and lost. With more than 58,000 names on the wall, including 151 Medal of Honor recipients, honoring these brave men and women is something we will continue to do long after the wall leaves Huntsville. Our Vietnam veterans did not receive the homecoming they deserve, so hopefully for those veterans in North Alabama who haven't been to the wall in D.C., they can receive that now. This is your homecoming, and I couldn't be more honored to share it with you. Welcome home, Vietnam veterans. In addition to bringing the wall here for our community to experience it firsthand, we have also engaged North Alabama schools who will take part in field trips today and tomorrow, and have also been teaching a Vietnam War-specific curriculum to ensure this influential and very important time in our nation's history and the sacrifice our soldiers made is never forgotten. Educating our younger generations about the importance of this critical era is crucial for them to understand the true meaning behind integrity, courage, and sacrifice. In addition to honoring our armed forces, our community has had the great honor of being able to engage and listen to and understand 3 Medal of Honor recipients that reside in our own backyard: Mike Sprayberry, Mike Rose, and Benny Atkins. Talking about a bucket list dinner, I had the opportunity to have dinner with Mike Rose, Mike Sprayberry, Benny Atkins, and their lovely wives. My wife Cynthia and I had dinner with them on Monday. And I'm telling you, that's something, if you don't have it in your bucket list, add it. Add to that Joe Galloway for lunch. And I'm telling you, that is a lunch you want to have. So I'm privileged and honored to be a part of this special event. The collaborative effort behind the experience, which we're all part, is something I will never forget. I want to close by again thanking you all, everything you have given everything you have done to bring the wall to Huntsville. For those that don't know Intuitive, we will be celebrating our 20th year in business in 2019. We have achieved major milestones. We have grown steadfast and purposely with focus and determination. No matter what our success results in, one thing will always remain true. We will do whatever it takes to take care of our veterans, the way they have selflessly continued to take care of our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Amodovar. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very fortunate to have the Huntsville Community Chorus with us today to sing the Star Spangled Banner. Please welcome the Huntsville Community Chorus led by Colonel Retired Norm Myers.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare upward swinging, and the air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Please be seated. I want to thank Colonel Norm Myers and the Huntsville Community Chorus for a great rendition. Our next speaker is going to be Mr. John Rowan. Mr. John Rowan is the National President for the Vietnam Veterans of America. The Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 1067, our local Huntsville chapter, is the host for this event. Mr. Rowan.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Actually, back in New York City where I come from, it's now the evening, and I'm still on that time clock. I know many of you who travel know what that's all about. It is my distinct pleasure to join you here this evening and my colleagues in Chapter 1067. This is only the second time I've been in Alabama. I landed in Birmingham, going on my way to Tupelo, Mississippi to dedicate a Vietnam Veterans Memorial over there last spring. But this time I came here, so I'm here for a whole day, so I can actually say I've been to Alabama and check it off in the box. I'm talking about checking off boxes. But anyway, I am proud to be here today to take part in this opening ceremony for this moving memorial. And I would like to take this opportunity first to welcome all the veterans in the room, and in particular the Vietnam veterans in the room. Welcome home. Welcome home. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial is a really distinct memorial, and I think I can really say that Maya Lin did one heck of a job when she created this thing. I mean, the simplicity of it, and yet the drama of it is incredible. The idea of putting all of those names just gives it such force. And you can see it, that whole theme now has been replicated in many other places. We have one in New York City in downtown Manhattan that's got 1,741 names on it. I just came back from California. We were in Sacramento at the Capitol. They celebrated the 30th anniversary of their Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And each one's a little bit different. That one's by town, and it was each name by each town in California, which I found fascinating. But the key to the whole memorial is the fact that it is America. When you think about the names on that wall, the men and the women, it's every race, every color, every creed, every ethnicity. Many of them, by the way, were not American. I have a friend of mine on the first wall who was born outside of Paris. I know others that were born in Lithuania, and Colombia, and Ecuador. There are over 400 and some odd Canadians who came across. Everybody learns when they grow up, oh yeah, all these people who ran away, went to Canada. They don't tell you about the thousands of Canadians who came across and joined the American military. Literally thousands, and unfortunately 400 and some odd of them are on a wall in Windsor, Ontario. So that the most important part of this wall is the names. And the fact that there's a story behind every name on that wall. There's a story, there's a family, there's disruption. Now, because of the draft and some other aspects of the draft, a lot of those men were young, very young. Compared to Korea and World War II, where the average age was 26 or 30 or whatever it was, they were a lot older. Many of them were married, et cetera, had children already. Many of the Vietnam veterans did not. They were single, young, 18, 19. I mean, the huge number of 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds who are on that wall is incredible. So unfortunately, their lives were cut short. But it's still, they had a mother, a father, brothers, sisters, whatever the case may be. And so each one of those names is a personal story that you can go to, and if you're related to them or even inkling to them, you can go to them. And they're on the wall by how they passed with their brethren, the men, predominantly men, some women, who they died with oftentimes. I mean, you can go to certain dates. I wasn't in country very long. I was there in July of '67, but I was there when they rocketed Da Nang pretty badly. And I noticed at least 6 names on that wall from that particular evening. 2 of them from an Air Force, 5 of them from an Air Force fire unit that tried to suppress an F-4 fire. So that everybody can find something about it. And what's really made it interesting now is they're putting the pictures, the faces to the wall. The Memorial Fund has gone out and tried to get a photo of everybody on that wall, which I can tell you is extremely difficult to do. Some states have done it. I don't know how far Alabama's gotten, but I can tell you it's amazing to me that some states were able to do that. Again, given the people who are on that wall and how they got there, I can tell you in my own community that I grew up in Queens, New York, part of New York City. There's a little memorial to 9 men. The first one is my friend Jean-Claude Esnault, who was killed in '63. He was killed the week after Kennedy got shot, and he's on the wall. There's a Lithuanian on the wall. There's an Ecuadorian on the wall. There are 2 other Hispanic names. We have no idea who they are because we could not find any family connection whatsoever. They were probably immigrants who came from South America in the wave in the '60s. And got off to the draft. Most people don't understand. If you came to this country and you had a green card, Uncle Sam can tell you, go in the military when we draft you or go home. Many of them did. I always had a friend of mine who I really kept getting on his case all the time. He came from Sweden. I said, how did you get drafted? People were going to Sweden, you came here, you got drafted. And it got even worse. He got drafted into the Marine Corps. Yeah, he had a tough time. But it really is a moving element of our history that people need to know, and that's why I'm really glad and supportive that the town is doing this, that the local folks are doing this, and that the kids are going to come by and learn something, hopefully. And maybe they'll see a name up there that looks like theirs or sounds like theirs. And hopefully they'll get some sort of connection to those people. So again, I thank you for letting me come here and join you this evening. I thank you for doing this. I thank you for bringing the wall to your city. It travels all around, and unfortunately, it may be the only way we're ever going to get the word out about what the sacrifice was that the Vietnam veterans made. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rowan. And thank you for coming all the way down from New York, too. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I want to introduce the mayor of the city of Huntsville. I want to give special thanks to the mayor for the city of Huntsville for everything that he's done to the park, the John Hunt Park. About a year and a half ago when we went to John Hamilton, this was a hayfield out here, maybe even a little bit worse. And we worked with John, and John said, if you can postpone bringing the wall to October 2018, we will have everything ready. And another one of those, okay, we will, schedule it. And we were very fortunate working from the VVMF, because the VVMF, we were one of 36 cities out of 100 cities that were selected. And on top of that, we got the date that we requested, so we were very fortunate. So, Mayor, thank you so much for everything that you've done for us on the wall. And sir, would you say a couple words?
To the Vietnam Veterans of America, sir, thank you for sharing your wall with us, with our community for the next 4 days. You honor us. To our community is honored to have this wall here. Our community is honored to look at the wall and look at the remembrance of what it means. Look at the remembrance of the courage, look at the remembrance of the sacrifice that wall represents. And on behalf of the 195,000 people who live in the city of Huntsville, we want to thank you for your courage, your sacrifice, for those who have served. But we also want to thank you and thank the nation for sharing this wall with us for maybe a short 4 days, but a time that we can all look at it and we can reflect on courage, on sacrifice, on what it really means to be an American. Sir, thank you for coming from New York City to join us. Thank you for sharing the wall with us, and to our community and to all the volunteers who have done such a great job. You make our city very, very proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Battle. And once again, thank you for everything that you've done. We wouldn't have anything like this if it weren't for the mayor pushing it. So we appreciate it, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the Huntsville Community Chorus will now sing God Bless America.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my own sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. My home, my home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairie,
Thank you so much. It is my honor and distinct pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Major General Allan Elliott, the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army Materiel Command. With more than 126,000 military, government service, and contractor employees, the Army Materiel Command is the Army's primary logistics and sustainment command, ensuring the best equipped and sustained fighting force in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm welcome to Major General Allan Elliott. Sir.
Well, good evening. And on behalf of the Commanding General of Army Materiel Command, General Gus Perna, and also my boss, Lieutenant General Ed Daly, the Senior Commander of Redstone Arsenal, I just want to thank you all for coming out tonight. And although that we've gone through a number of introductions, I'm going to take just a moment to recognize again some of our distinguished guests. But first, I want to recognize, I think, the most distinguished soldier among us, and that's Captain Mike Rose. Sir, it's always a pleasure to see you, and thank you for honoring us and for the work you do in this community and continue to do across our country. You're really an inspiration, sir. Thank you. Well, I may get out of step with protocol, but I hope you'll forgive me a little bit. But Congressman Brooks, Attorney General Steve Marshall, Senator Bill Holtzclaw, Representative Sandiford, thank you all for being here. And it means so much for our community, and the fact that you take time to be here is really honors us. Mayor Battle, sir, although Mayor Finley couldn't be here, you and Chairman Strong, I just want you to know that as a transplant from Georgia, I just couldn't be more proud to be in another community. This is a great community, and it's made strong by your partnership and your collaboration. We're a vibrant and strong community because of the work you do, and thank you very much for how you attend to the veterans and the military in your community. We really do appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you. Mr. Amodovar, and many thanks to you and Intuitive for supporting the wall and helping to bring it here to our city. John Perry, Pete Fast, and the entire wall team, this is a culmination of your hard work and your determination, and thank you very much for bringing this important memorial to our community. I just want to give you a round of applause as well. And I have another boss in the audience, Miss Adams. I do not call her Alicia, but Miss Adams, thank you very much, ma'am, for coming down and being with us today. And then our great partner, our CASA, Dr. Fitzgerald. Sir, you know, it's always an honor to be in your presence. And thank you for all you do for us and the soldiers in this community and all of our military members in this community. You know, it's unwavering support like you provide and our civil leaders provide that, you know, that really honors us, and we do appreciate it. Most importantly, to our service members, our veterans who served with valor in the eras of World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm and SHIELD, Iraq, Afghanistan, as well as those of you currently serving, those of us who are currently serving, I would just like to recognize you and thank you for your service as well. Well, tonight we take just a little bit of a pause to reflect on those who served in Vietnam. Words cannot express our gratitude for your selfless service and the sacrifices you've made in support of our nation and the freedom of Vietnam. We know you did not always receive the gratitude you deserved when you returned home. And so this is our opportunity to give you your just deserts. And we just want to recognize you. So if you don't mind, if you would just allow us to applaud you at this time one more time. And for me, I'm very intimidated to be among such great soldiers and heroes. I would rather my boss, General Perna, be here, or General Daly, but they're doing combat up in the National Capital Region. They would much rather be here with you, I assure you. But there's no place I would rather be, and even if they were here, I would be here among you this evening as we take time to honor and remember those who gave the last full measure in Vietnam and offer their family members, their battle buddies, and friends a chance for healing. You know, General George Washington once said, the willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional to how they perceive the veterans of earlier wars and how they were treated and appreciated by their nation. General Washington, in his wisdom, understood that this nation must never stop showing our veterans the support and gratitude they deserve. In my opinion, it's our solemn responsibility as a great nation to provide the best support to those who've served and sacrificed on our behalf. To serve in the military and to the U.S. military is a high honor, and it's not something that I take lightly, and I know those who serve with me feel the same way. It's not lost on any of us serving in the military today that we're part of a great legacy. You, our Vietnam veterans, are a key piece of that legacy, and we are proud to represent you and your dedication and commitment to freedom. Your service, your experiences bond you forever and bond us to you. Your connection to the names on the wall may not be understood by all, but we see it. These are the names of your brothers and your sisters, those that gave the last full measure for love of country and friends. Greater love hath no man than this, that he lay down his life for others. We remember those friends, those American heroes, tonight and over the weekend. This wall will provide our community an opportunity to remember, an opportunity to teach the newest among our generation, and most importantly, an opportunity to heal. To our Vietnam veterans who are with us today, words cannot express our gratitude for the selfless service and sacrifices you and your families made to support and defend our freedom and liberty. We hope each of you will be honored by the wall being here. You deserve it. We thank you for your example and for your selflessness. And may God bless each and every one of you here. And may God continue to bless the great United States of America. Thank you very much. Army Strong.
General Elliott, and our tradition goes with giving coins, but we have a special coin for you, sir. This coin that I'm holding up is in the shape of a dog tag, and it says, "The Wall That Heals," and on the back side it says Huntsville, Alabama, November 1st through the 4th. Sir, thank you so much for coming down. Ladies and gentlemen, the Huntsville Chorus will sing the Armed Forces Medley, and Colonel Myers told me that he wants to see everybody on their feet when your song is played. Colonel Myers? Hoorah! Here we go.
From the rising of the sun till the battle's fought and won, we will fight for the right and defend our country. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through howling gale and shot and shell to win our around us is our God, our pledge, our motto too. We're always ready, do or die. Allied Coast Guard, we fight for you, for you. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Anchors away, my boys. We sail at break of day. Through our last night on shore, drink to the foam. Until we meet once for years, wishing you a happy voyage home. First to fight for the right and to fill the nation's might, and the Army goes rolling along. The Army goes rolling along, and it's high, high, hey, the Army's on its way. Down out your gate, it's loud and strong. Wherever we go, you will always know that the Army goes rolling along. Oh, off we go into the wild blue yonder, flying high. Attaboy, give 'em the gun, give 'em the gun. As we die, starting a flame from under, off we won, ever more. We live in flame, go down in flame, cause nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. America, America, America.
Thank you, Colonel Myers. Excellent, very good. And the Huntsville Community Chorus. Thank you all. Let's give them another round of applause. They were fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our remarks. I know we have a couple of people that got 6 o'clock meetings. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. This officially opens up the wall. Please take time out of your weekend, come and see it. And I know we've got people out here that have 6 o'clock meetings, so by all means, scurry through. But everyone else, you can enjoy. This is a great museum. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it.